Music's still going. Music's still going. I can't stop the music in the background. I don't know what was happening there, but it's stopped now. Anyway, welcome. I know what's happening. I've got a bit of a delay. People, bear with me. Bear with me. I've got myself playing in the background. But welcome to Paxton Road TV. I am going to sort this out whilst I'm doing that because I don't like to hear me in the background. Anyway, sorted. Very confusing start. I'm Sam Spurs for Life. Welcome to Paxton Road TV, PRTv Spurs. We'll get more professional and let's get a little bit better with the intro. Hello, I'm Sam Spurs for Life. This is Paxton Road TV and PRTv Sports. It's all very confusing. There's noises getting off everywhere. My video was playing in the background. I had a bit of a delay. Hence the reason I was getting confused. It's quite easy to get confused with me. It must be the age. Anyway, talking points. Episode number 129. What are we discussing today? Let me see if I can get the title of the show. I need to get the actual thumbnail up and then we can see. And as always, I try and be a little bit creative in what we do, creative in what I say, creative in titles as per usual, and it's still loading. So I'm going to introduce the guests as they are already here. Sean Hell, Darius 3K, welcome to the stream. The title of the show, Levy released the Hounds. What that means to you means anything, but it means to me that there's been a few players released this last couple of days, and also has Levy released his media hounds, the press hounds, starting to get some rumours going about regarding certain players. So a lot to talk about and probably not enough time to do it all, but we're doing some adjustments. But before we do anything else, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, comment, all the rest of it in the comment section below, and do everything you can. We will be making some changes coming. 31st of July, we will no longer be actually transmitting from, it's a bit old, transmitting from Paxton Road. Will be continuously streaming from PRTv Spurs YouTube and their bollocks. Anyway, that will come and more information will be available as and when. So welcome to the stream, Sean. Welcome to the stream, Darius. How are we both feeling? How are we in the life of a Spurs fan pre-transfer window?
Yeah, I was a bit confused by your thumbnail when it appeared in my Twitter line earlier today. But yeah, I'm fine. Lots of things going on in and around Tottenham Hotspur, according to the news. Some of it good, some of it less good. But yeah, it's all good. All good. I'm good. Sun's shining at the moment currently.
I've changed where I've normally record from, just because I can at least enjoy a little bit of sunshine when we talk about Tottenham. But you know, I'm the same as Sean. I'm not really in my Tottenham mindset at the moment. I'm in my Euros mindset. I'm not necessarily an England fan, but obviously I'll support England. So I'm just looking forward to a Euros, and a lot of other stuff's happened in football. You know, probably one of the biggest ever transfers in the history of football's happened. So there's loads of other things happening. But apart from that, I mean, you know, I don't try to indulge myself in Tottenham media and news unless it's really massive until the season starts, or until the transfer window starts, should I say. Yeah,
I'm just really going off news that's actually happened, as in factual, i.e. when players have actually left, i.e. when players have actually been bought. All the rest of this is rumours. There's some strong rumours, some loose rumours, but as I always see it, that everybody's trying to make some money these days. Journalists are trying to make some money, newspapers, all the rest of it. They're going to put clicks for you to, or things to bait you into clicking, should I say. And that happens. And I'm guilty of it myself. But I think there's a saying that goes that our famous old Sid says, we'll wait, not just Sid, until they're holding that actual shirt up in terms of transfers incoming. But there has been some outgoing. So we'll talk about that Yaphet Tanganga, Ryan Sessegnon, Eric Dyer, Ivan Perisic, two of which we probably already knew. Obviously, Bayern Munich has it snapped up, and I'll say the word snapped up phrase, snapped up Eric Dyer. He didn't win anything, but he's obviously gone.
Is it confirmed he's gone on a free there?
Yeah.
Yeah,
contract
done. Yeah, I mean, his contract ran out, so he was on loan, and it's just basically he's obviously satisfied Bayern to the point where they're going to sign him from July the 1st. I think he's done all right there, actually. I mean, to be honest, you know, he got there, and I was surprised that he's forged ahead of players like Min-jae and I can never pronounce it.
Upamecano?
Upamecano and Elite as well. So, you know, but he probably had some backing in the coach's corner. Whether the new coach will look at Eric Dyer in quite the same way, I would probably suspect not. But
especially the way that Company likes to set up his teams as well. He's now used to playing a little bit deeper with, you know, obviously Burnley being a little bit more pragmatic towards the end of the season, needing to get points. But I'm pretty sure that, you know, the Bayern Munich faithful aren't going to want him to play that sort of way, and they are going to look for him to you know, go back to those Anderlecht days and Burnley Championship days to you know, make a model of what he's going to really envision that team to be. So I agree with you there, Sean. I think he will have a place in that team, but I don't think he'll be starting many games for Company. I think he'll have a good, you know, secondary role, maybe even third player, just utility, kind of like a James Milner at Liverpool, just to sort of fill in positions. Because at the end of the day, he is versatile enough to probably play a couple of positions. So yeah, I'm again not a player of Tottenham anymore, so I don't really care what happens to him.
I was just going to say, why are you talking about it for so long? I don't care. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Bored. He's gone. What I would just add to that is different managers. You know, it's not just talent that allows you to become a footballer in any sports. Anyway, you have to have something else. And obviously, the way the managers play the game might have helped him. Tuchel, a bit more pragmatic. You know, not so, I guess, gung ho playing off halfway lines and stuff like that, when you haven't got to play with the pace of Eric Dyer. So they did play more to his strength, maybe played three at the back at time. I don't know. I don't really care. He's gone. The other one that's gone, Ryan Sessegnon, again, unfortunate for him, joined us, was it 2019?
19.
Yeah. The summer after the Champions League.
Yeah, 19.
And so what's that? 5 years?
5 years? 5 years, half a decade.
57 appearances. Now that's alarming, isn't it? Really?
Wait, 57 Premier League appearances. That's all he made.
57 appearances he made for us across those 5 years.
He only made 57 appearances. Wow.
That's
wow.
He arrived injured because he got injured on international duty in that summer. And wow, you know,
Sean, you know what? That stat is so insane. I believe you, but it's almost hard to believe that's factual.
What makes it even more insane is he was 19 when he joined us. He was 19.
He's only 24.
Exactly. He's not even got to what we would consider to be prime. You would still consider him to be relatively young as a footballer, although that's probably changed over the number of years. But still, he's a young man, and he's only played 57 games in 5 years.
I can't.
How we've had him for so sorry. How we've had him for so long.
I know he went on loan. He went on loan to Hoffenheim for a year, so he had but that's awful. That's truly, truly awful. I'm again glad to see the back of him.
He's seen his whole contract out, and he's played 50. He's not on a bad card. I don't know how much he's on, but I can say that he was definitely on more than he was when he was in at Fulham. And he's on a decent Premier League where he's got all the potential. That was all what I was being told. He's got all the potential. But after the first couple of years, 2-3 years, we should have been trying to get rid of him. But anyway, that being said, they've run his contract down. Probably nobody wanted to buy him. And yeah, we're now into it. We're now into, I guess, silly transfer season, or at least conversations before we get into the actual transfer. So what's going on in the moment? Rumors going around. Players being linked to the club. I'll ask the question. Conor Gallagher, is it someone that you would like to see? Either of you? Sure, with you, Sean.
I mean, to me, I mean, obviously, it's a rumor that won't go away. It's been hanging around our club for a whole year now. I mean, it was around last summer, and there was, from what I understand, from what people who poke about these things, they said that there were some discussions last summer. Chelsea are in a financial position where they don't know where. Well, we don't know whether they need to sell players, but it's certainly a rumour that won't go away. I'm not convinced. He's so attached to his home, his club. He was the captain last season, for God's sake. I just don't understand this sale. I really don't understand this sale. I understand Villa are in for him and possibly Atletico Madrid as well. I mean, I don't know. For me, it's a strange one. He's a good player, but I just wonder whether his heart will be in it coming to us, given the rivalry. If he's a fan, will he really give us 100%? Well, I don't know. It's very strange.
Yeah, it is a strange one. Darius, Conor Gallagher being linked to the club, heavily linked to the club, as has been for a little while now, to be fair. Is available on a free transfer, I think, at the beginning of next season, or his contract runs out, shall I say, at the end of this season, coming June next year. Is he a player that you want in the squad? Is he a player that you rate? What's your thoughts on Conor Gallagher?
I think he's all right. I think I agree with pretty much everything Sean says. Why on earth? And again, Ange Postecoglou said at the start of the season, we want players who want to play for Tottenham, not want to play for a Champions League club or whatever. So, and I agree with him 100% on that. So, why on earth, and no matter how well he would fit the system, would you want somebody who comes from a rival who's already pretty much, he's not come out and said, I don't want to play for Tottenham, but there's been so many reports saying he doesn't want to move to Tottenham. He would reject a move to Tottenham if proposed. Why would you even entertain it? And then you add the price on top of that at £50 million. And I just think to myself, £50 million could get spent. If not 50, you add a little bit extra on from, potential sales or, the funds that we've now released in wages off the 4 players that have been released from the club. Why not go and spend that money on a player that's going to, want to play for the club, first of all, and maybe, have more impact on the team in terms of their position? Because I don't think a centre mid auxiliary sort of 8 is what we need at the moment. We need a defensive midfielder and we need an out-and-out striker. So for me, it just doesn't make any sense. I'm not bashing the player. I don't think he's as good as people make him out to be. Anyway, I think he's a good midfielder. But Aston Villa, despite them being in a better situation, being in the Champions League, etc., it would be hard for him to get into that team as well, with Tielemans playing well towards the end of the season and them having a pretty solid midfield 3 as it is. So I just don't see any point in the transfer. And then £50 million really sours my mood on it.
Did he make the England squad? I haven't seen the squad.
I don't know if he's been. I know it's Maddison and Jones who are 2 of the 3 players who have been taken out of the provisional, but I'm pretty sure he is in the England squad. I think he's in the 23-man squad now. I know that he was in the 26. I know he was in the 26. So
yeah, somebody confirm. I think obviously our player that didn't make it, whether or not people are not happy about it. James Maddison will not be going to the Euros this year. It's a weird one because there's players that are going to these Euros that Gareth Southgate. Someone made a good point, and I think it was David Clark. Players who don't really have much form for their clubs who are going. But again, is that more of a specific player? Have we got an overload of midfielders that we don't need to be carrying a James Maddison? You've got the likes of Foden. I'm assuming Grealish is going to be going. I'm assuming Bellingham's going to be going. It looks like Conor Gallagher's going to be going. So there's players, maybe they've got an overload of midfielders that they can afford to. But if like Harry Maguire's going, I'd have a word. I'll be having a word with Gareth Southgate. What's going on? You can let Big Ed over here go. But anyway, that's just me.
But again, you look at him and you look at players like Pickford, and they've got evidence to show that they've got impact and they have impact in this England team. And look at the South Americans; they play more for that country than they do for their club. They will probably admit that themselves. So I there's more logical sense bringing Maguire and players like Maguire and Pickford than it is bringing Conor Gallagher. that squad. And again, Maddison must be not unhappy, and Gallagher, if he gets in, I don't think it shows that he's a better player than people who don't get in this. It doesn't make sense for Tottenham. He's a Chelsea fan. He's been at the, like Sean said, he's a bloody captain last season. So it doesn't make any sense to me. I'd be very, very, very shocked if we sign him.
Conor Gallagher, I don't get the pursuit of him. If there is a pursuit, again, I'm just going by the fact that it is an easy way to sell clicks. It's an easy way. Not even ex-Chelsea player, current Chelsea player, boyhood Chelsea fan, their captain, old Spurs manager used to be there, blah, 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 all the rest of it. That's good clickbait there. Easy to Conor Gallagher's interested. He's not interested in coming to Spurs. I don't think he's interested to come to Spurs based on what I know about his history. It's like saying, oh, Jack Wilshere wants to come to Spurs when he was at Arsenal. There was no chance of that. He's Arsenal through and through. I've seen him put videos up about us. There was no way. I don't care what anybody says. There are certain players that I don't think would actually come across that line to Spurs for even in this modern era. And I think Conor Gallagher is one of them. So whether or not the links get stronger, if this was to happen, I don't know how it would happen. But no, I personally don't think he's an upgrade on what we have to be able to make us better. He makes us a bit deeper in the squad. Yeah, if you lost somebody like Højbjerg and if player's heart's not in it, but then you're getting a player who's a boyhood Chelsea fan coming to Spurs. I don't know how his heart's going to be 100% in it. You're professional, I get all that, but anyway. Other rumours getting around. Forward-wise, there's who have we been linked to on a forward-wise? It was somebody, I think, from Nice that Tottenham were looking at. Yeah, because he's still got here talking about Tottenham is set to rival Aston Villa to sign 50 million Chelsea and England midfielder Conor Gallagher, who's 24, by the way. Does that make a difference? English tax, Sean. I know that you know a bit more. You do know more about this than me. In terms of the quotas, the coefficients, in terms of the players needed homegrown, etc., etc. I guess this would be something that would fill that quota. And would that be one of the only reasons that you would look to Conor Gallagher to do that?
Well, we do. It does appear, particularly with the rumours of people who are leaving, that we are going to have an issue with homegrown players. Now, I know a lot of people say, "Oh, we just promote the under-21s, just promote the under-18s." I'm not sure that's necessarily the best thing to do. I feel that players might need to go and play adult football, like Ashley Phillips did at Plymouth last year, like Alfie Devine did at Port Vale and Plymouth, because I think you get to experience what it's like to be players who are maybe signing contracts year to year, having to pay their mortgage, worried about what's going to happen to them in the summer. You get an experience of what it's like at the rough end of, if you like, of football. We've talked. I mean, the player we haven't talked about when we were talking about the four that were released is Japhet Tanganga. There's not only just a homegrown, but also a club trained, and that's another thing that you have to take into account. Given that we're in Europe, and we've obviously got to satisfy the Premier League rules, and I think they slightly differ. I mean, I think you need more club trained players for UEFA competitions than you do for the Premier League, but you have to take cognizance of that. And I think I saw, I think your friend Jack Darius did a piece, and he said that basically we're down to Skip, Whiteman, Austin, and Parrott.
And now you can see why probably he's
Skip,
giving these guys these contracts.
And you think, that's what has happened here, So there's certainly, it's like people think it's like Football Manager, the game. You just, you just go and pick a player off a shelf and stick him into the team. But look at the nonsense we got involved where we sent Matt Doherty to Atletico Madrid, and then suddenly it was pointed out, oh, by the way, you've got too many players already on loan. Yeah, we had to basically cancel his contract. It's hopefully. I do have a bit of faith in the team that have been put together. They've got some experience. They've got some good experience at a Premiership rival at Aston Villa, Lang and Mackenzie. I'm thinking of. Hopefully, Scott Munn brings his experience from working with the City Football Group, and we'll see what it is. You know, I mean, there's, you know, it does appear that there's a pruning going on. You know, and from what I've seen, you know, obviously the Perisic and Dyer deals were done in January. Really, I was surprised. There were actually options for a year for both Sessegnon and Tanganga, which we didn't take up, you know. So we put feelers out. We weren't going to get a fee for, or a reasonable fee for Sessegnon, and who would give us a fee given what we've already talked about. Tanganga, I don't know why we didn't, you know, at least hold out for a fee, but, you know, that's obviously a decision. They decided maybe to lose the wages off the wage bill, and that's more important to them at the moment, because that's the other thing you need to take into account. These players might go, but and it releases wages, and that might be
we
important.
lost 180,000. Was it 180,000, 185,000 Perisic was on a week?
Was he on as much as that?
He was very high. He was
I
definitely
saw something similar.
170.
I may be mistaken, but I did see something along those lines. So if anyone could double check, or anyone in the comments know what the actual statistic, I'm pretty sure it was around 100, because he came for a free. Came on a free, didn't he?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, and we probably just picked up his wages from, was he at Inter when he joined?
He was at Inter before, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's, you know, the best part of £10 million.
Which again, like I said, it's very, the age old saying, time will tell. I think you have to apply it here, because we're talking about hypotheticals. We're talking about a lot of rumors, and you know, we've been through this merry-go-round of rumors every single year, twice a year, with both windows. And for me, I think, like Sean said, I have a little bit more faith, should I say, in our team upstairs now, because they do seem to have that experience. However, Daniel Levy has a final say, and, you know, I'm not going to judge anybody's, you know, performance in the market, whether that be scouts, whether that be Langer finalizing deals, you know, whether that be Levy approving of it. I've seen rumors of, you know, there being no budget per se, but we know what that means. It's a case by case basis. We're gonna have to sell, which is why I'm positive about seeing these four guys go early, and, like Sean said, not choosing to try and haggle out for a small fee that's, you know, in the grand scheme of things, isn't going to really be that detrimental to our budget. So yeah, I'm happy to see four players go before the window's open, and I do expect to see now, when the window opens, players go for a fee who we can actually sell for a fee. So yeah, I think it's a good start. I'm just taking it day by day, like you said, Sam. Anything confirmed that is factual, I'll look at it and say, okay, cool. To me, before the window's opened, getting rid of four players is a good start. You look on the flip side and say, okay, cool. Well, three of those four players were English. So that's an area that we're going to now need to think about, you know, filling those holes in.
Interesting you say about English. Obviously, Eric Dyer was a curious case because he didn't count as English.
Oh, of course, because he was is it Portuguese?
Yeah, he grew up in the Sporting Lisbon Academy. So very odd situation. Yeah.
My only thing is, obviously we are losing these players, but just to give some context as to what these players are on. I'm not sure about Eric Dyer. He probably was close to what Ben Davies is currently on, which is around about £80,000 a week. Unless what's his name got an improved wage over a period of time. Ryan Sessegnon, up to the point he left the club, was on 55 grand. Again, that needs to be ratified, but this is coming from the website I'm looking at now. We've got Jed Spence on around £25, and I think, as you mentioned before, although it's not confirmed here, 170 grand for Perisic. So if you look at the Ben Davies, around about 80 grand, 80 to 100, I reckon that's what Eric Dyer was getting. So my point is, with those two players, Eric Dyer and Perisic, I can understand that. Eric Dyer being, is he 29? How old is he?
Oh yeah, must be 30, 29.
Coming up that age, at least round about that age. The other two, Japhet Tanganga and Ryan Sessegnon, are a lot younger. I'm not sure how old Japhet Tanganga is, but Ryan Sessegnon, 24. Why didn't we sell these players before? Because he's basically seen out his old contract. He's seen 5 years out, and if he was getting 5 years at 55,000 a week, 2.5 million a year. It's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. So again, it's those business aspects of it. A player that's now homegrown has been sold. We're going to have to look at that. So how are we going to do that? The tax in terms of bringing players in. He's a left-sided defender, left-sided wing back, if that's what we want to call him. They're going to be difficult to find anyway, if we're not going to be able to appoint anybody from our academy. So even though we've got this player off the wage bill and we've had him for 5 years and he's played 50 odd games, to replace him, let's have a think about that, because we are going to need to have left-sided players. You've lost 2, in effect, in Perisic and Ryan Sessegnon. So let's do that. Have you ever thought about who you're going to replace Ryan Sessegnon and even Perisic with in the coming transfer window? Because they will need replacing.
And I think the hard thing about this one, and this is why I think this window is going to be a real test of the new board, footballing directing board upstairs in Tottenham, because it's very easy to convince a player to come to Tottenham Hotspur if you're going to guarantee them a starting place in the team, because minutes is one of the most important things to a player's development, career. If it's not a guarantee of trophies or a guarantee to compete, you want to guarantee them minutes to play football. And I think that's why we were able to sign players like Udogie, Van der Ven, Brennan Johnson to an extent as well, because they knew they were going to get into that starting 11. Now, I feel like where we can improve in the starting 11 is true, but in terms of left back and backup centre back, like almost like a fourth option choice in backup centre back, should I say, and then second option in left back. It's a lot harder to convince players to come to the club and know they're going to be maybe second choice. So I think where we have to find the right players, it might not be the names that everybody expects, and I don't think it's going to be a player that many of us have heard of. That would be my guess. Or you go for somebody with a little bit more experience, closer to maybe their prime age, who's on an expiring contract, who you can maybe get for a good fee. So I don't think you're going to get an amazing left back that we've all heard about. But again, it's what you want to go for. Is it age? You want somebody who's going to develop under Udogie and you're going to have 2 people competing, or do you want somebody who's going to have a bit more experience to guide that team, guide that back line through situations, cup games, etc. So it depends what they're looking for in that squad building sense. I would personally, if I was them, I would go for a left back who's 28, 29. You can maybe get him on a good deal. That's what I would go for, because I think 2 young left backs is great, but we've got Van der Ven as well who could fill that role in left back as well. So I think we could go for somebody with a bit more experience who's been through that footballing career, who's approaching their prime, I would say, or in their prime. I think that would be the perfect signing. But again, normally that comes with a hefty fee, unless you can find players who are leaving on a free, etc.
Any views on that, Sean? Because like I said, I think it's going to be I wouldn't say an impossible challenge, but it's going to be a difficult challenge to get a player of the quality that we require and not alert other teams to it, and not obviously alert that team that we're going to be purchasing that player to obviously put the price up. And we've got to replace one. We've got to at least get one player in, because if you lost 2 left-sided players, we've seen that we're struggling on that side. We're playing inverted people on that side, i.e. Emerson Royal, who's not left-footed, playing on that right-hand side. I've seen that. Obviously, we're taking out our centre-back, who primarily is our centre-back, our best centre-back, and touting with the fact that he might have to play left-back at times, although he can and looks pretty decent. And I would look, if we had enough in our squad, Mickey Van der Ven playing that role, because he's a footballer, he's got football intelligence, he's got football ability. I'd love to see him in that role. But obviously, we've got Udogie, so when Udogie's fit, you wouldn't want it. So again, I wouldn't want to have Van der Ven as a backup to Udogie, if that makes sense. But if Udogie was out for a long period of time, I would be more than happy to play Van der Ven there, get him, because I think he could develop that role fantastically well. Just seeing the way he kind of has that passing range, seeing the way he can take a shot at goal. He's very attack-minded in that sense, and I think he could do pretty well. But then we're taken out of a position in the left side of our centre-back where Dragus would have to play, who's not, again, left-sided per se, and I think we'd struggle. So, again, what do we do? Do you think we go through another centre-back? I think we need another centre-back. Anyway, or do you look for more of a hybrid player, someone that can play left-back, someone that can play a bit of maybe higher up? Because that's what Sessegnon was. That's what Perisic was. They were both not necessarily full-backs. Perisic was definitely more of an attacking player. but had the ability to play wing back. Brian Sesson on the same. He made his name as a forward or a forward player at Fulham. We transformed him into something else. And that something else, he didn't see enough of it. But what type of player are we looking for? A more of a hybrid, or are we looking at a specialist? Either or, both of you can answer, but not at the same time.
Obviously, Sean, you go first.
I've
got no idea.
I'd probably just sort of roll back on what you were talking about an experienced player, because I think our system, the coach's system, requires a bit of the players who are hungry, players who are fit, players who are young, generally younger, and whereas an experienced player may come with baggage from previous, I've played in something better than this. I think it's maybe a bit more difficult to convince them. I think that's probably one of the good things about our team last year is a bit of very young back line, but they certainly in those opening 10, 11 games, we embraced the coach's system. We didn't sustain it due to injuries and suspensions and all sorts of other things which we've covered in previous streams. But I do think that my inkling is, or my feeling is that Ange will go for as yet unknown talent, young talent to come into the team to play the system that he wants. I don't think he necessarily. He might go for experience in key positions, like at the centre back, but I think wing backs are, because of the role they're expected to play. There's kind of, I think they need to be a bit more hungry, a bit younger. So that makes, to me, thinks he'll go towards hungry young players who want to make their step. And Tottenham, let's not have it. Tottenham is a very attractive team to come to. Great facilities, great coach. There's a positive buzz around the club. Quite a young squad and getting younger with the pruning that's going on. So I think, I couldn't identify an individual. Certainly, for example, as I understand it, Emerson is just awaiting Tottenham and Milan to agree a fee, so he's off to Italy.
Incredible agent work. Incredible.
Genoa's top transfer guy is over in London talking to our boys about Jed Spence. Incredible. It's amazing how they agreed to a loan with an option. But now they want the option. They're not prepared to pay the fee that they said at the option. So, and
the thing is, they know we need to sell as well. They know his value is going to keep increasing.
I mean, they're kind of doing a Levy on us, really.
Fair.
I know we agreed to pay whatever 10 million euros, but we have him for 6, or whatever, And I think. It's my understanding that Ange has already said that Jed, there's no way back for Jed. So let's get what we can for him.
There was no way forward for Jed. That's the point. He didn't feature under any manager. There's been a few. He didn't get an opportunity, whether or not he was the right person to have gone for. Whether the club, because Conte made it known that Jed Spence, if we are going to continue on the Jed Spence thing, was a club signing, what that was about. And this is going back to the point about trusting whoever's involved with these transfers to get it right more often than get it wrong. And if you think of those 4 players that we've just mentioned, I'd say Eric Dyer, obviously a good servant. We can't, as much as I would ridicule Eric Dyer for what he did in the last couple of years of his Spurs career, he had a solid career at Spurs. You can look back and say he had a solid career at Spurs. He's seen a lot. But as with everything, it's time to move on. I just think we kept him too long, more than we needed to do. But the purchase of Jed Spence still, it's a mystery to me. He was killing it when he was on loan at Forest from Middlesbrough, or vice versa, whichever way it were around it was, and looked like a player that had the talent, certainly the youth to be able to make it as a player at Spurs. But again, we've seen a lot of that before. But I wasn't given an opportunity. Now, whether or not that was down to attitude, obviously, what's his name said something about that, and maybe that of followed him. Neil Warnock, maybe that kind of followed him around. Neil Warnock saying that he's either going to be a League 2 player or he's going to be a top Prem player. That sort of pressure for a guy of that age who wanted to make it at Spurs.
I tend to think that Warnock had the measure of him, to be honest. From what I understand, at Leeds, he did not cover himself in any glory when he was on loan there. And it was no wonder that they cancelled the loan after 6 months, you know. So
what were we thinking about when we went out and bought him off the back
of
that
you know what?
Season?
Same exact situation as Tanguy Ndombele. You saw the ability. He had a good season, a really, really good season, and you wanted to pounce before any other club could pounce. Because I'm pretty sure we were having a little bit of a battle with a club for Jed Spence, and I can't remember who it was. I don't know if it was an overseas club.
It's either Forest wanted him.
Forest wanted him.
Middlesbrough were the parent club. We got him before them, and we got him.
And that's all it is. Overspent, and we didn't want to lose him. And again, didn't do our due research and due scouting as you should on everything. Like Sean said, it's not just about the ability of the player. It's whether
just about the ability of the player.
And what's telling is I don't like doing this, and I don't like saying things like this. But you know, when he wins a playoff final, and the first thing he posts is like a direct tweet towards Neil Warnock to say sort of like,
yeah, you know, things are not going to be going well after that.
It's like you don't want to go too deep into it. You don't want to look too deep into things. But it's like those are the sort of things where, you know, it sets you up. It sets you up to have this character, this assumption of you, and it's very hard to shake unless you play amazing. So again, quite a lot of just it is what it is, isn't it?
The same thing I can angle at Ndombele. Now he's got 1 year left of his contract. Although, funnily enough, he doesn't show his wages as being part of what we've got on the squad in terms of what's being paid out. However, if the rumours and any sort of information is to be correct, he was on just less than Harry Kane. Now, Heung-min Son at the moment is our top wage weighing at 197k per week. Ivan Perisic was the next at 180. He's gone, obviously. Christian Romero, 175. Is Richarlison, 175. Maddison, 170. There's a lot of money being paid to these players. And so I think we have a right to ask the question of what if they're not getting it right in the transfer market with certain players. Not saying not all, because we've got some really good players out of the transfer market recently. But I'm just focused on this Jed Spence one, because if you're only tracking a player for 1 year, I don't think you're really doing your scouting job that well. Everybody can have a great season. Anybody can have a great season. Look at Dominic Solanke. He's had a fantastic season at Bournemouth. Now, he's maybe alerted a lot of these clubs to what he potentially could be, but I don't remember us talking about Dominic Solanke in any sense of, that player, he looks a bit tasty. I could say that about Alexander Isak. He looks tasty. And I've seen him for years to think, this player looks tasty. And he's proven it now being at Newcastle. And maybe then if he goes on to play for a club that's in the Champions League, we can then say exactly that. But you got to get it right. And you can't get it right in just one season. Think, that's it. We're going to be... And this is the Conor Gallagher thing for me. He's had an all right season at Chelsea. I don't remember too many other seasons.
I think he had a better season at Crystal Palace. He had a better season at Crystal Palace, in my opinion.
And who wouldn't? If you're at Crystal Palace,
he was good. He was good at West Brom,
and he was good at West Brom.
Again, if you're looking around what you've got around you, you should be looking good at West Brom. You should be looking good at Crystal Palace. You shouldn't be looking. When I say you shouldn't be looking good at Chelsea, you should be looking good at Chelsea if you're that level of player. But for him to be,
come on, he was the club captain, so.
What does that mean? I don't know. I'm just looking at his ability. I don't care if he's a leader. I don't really care. Højbjerg is a leader. Højbjerg is a very good leader in terms of that. I like what he says, but we don't want him at our club. Conor Gallagher's not much difference to him, in my opinion. So that's me, again, saying what I feel in the reason why being linked to certain players. So would you take Conor Gallagher now?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he's a better player than you're making him out to be, but I wouldn't take him. And it's not even like if he wasn't a Chelsea boy and he wasn't.
Let's not look at. I'm sorry, I'm just going to stop you there. let's not look at doing better than what we've got currently. Let's look at us addressing situations and enabling us to take us further. Conor Gallagher is still in the same sort of boat, in my opinion, as Timo Werner. Not as bad, don't get me wrong, and I'm not classing him in the same. He's not advancing us. He's not going to advance us to a level much better than Højbjerg is. Højbjerg's attitude might be different. You're now telling me that Conor Gallagher, a Chelsea through and through, comes to our club and is going to be, I'm going to make the best of this at this club here.
But this is what I'm saying. If you're talking strictly ability, I think he would have an impact on our team, quite a significant one, because his pressing numbers are very high.
He scores more goals than Højbjerg.
He scores a lot of goals as well. So I think if you're talking strictly ability, he would. But he's a Chelsea boy, like I said, and he'd cost 50 million. That's my issue. It's not necessarily the player.
So you'd have him over. I'm just gonna call these names out because we're saying he's not going to play a 6, right? We're saying he's not playing a 6, so he's going to be in an 8. We need to agree on this first before we go any further.
He's an 8. He's an 8. He'll play the same role that Madison will play or
Court,
Sarr will play.
Better.
Yes, I'd take him over. I'd take him over Bentancur. I'd take him over Sarr. No, maybe not Sarr. He's on par with Sarr.
Bissouma.
I'd take him over Bissouma 100%.
Madison, you could say, plays an 8/10.
Madison, I wouldn't take him over.
Kulusevski, I would say he's going to probably be moved into the 8/10.
I'd take him over Kulusevski.
How much does he improve us over a season from these players? Bearing in mind, we're going to be playing one more competition than we had done previously. What
are we still talking about Conor Gallagher? Or are we talking about his
Conor Gallagher? I'm talking about Conor Gallagher.
Well, he wouldn't, because he doesn't want to play for us. That's why I don't want him. So ability, I need to know if it's ability. Yes, he would improve us. If it's Conor Gallagher, ability, and the fact that he's a Chelsea fan and the fact that he plays for Chelsea and he's captain, no, he wouldn't improve us. So you don't want to play
better.
For us.
So you're saying he's better than those players that we've just named?
We went through it. I said the only players I would probably take over him are Madison and Sarr, and I think he's on the same level as Sarr. He's on par with Sarr.
There, that's your opinion. That's fine. Sean,
do you know what? If he comes, it's down to, I would imagine he's been signed off by Ange, and I will have to accept, that if the manager wants him, he sees a role for him in the team, and he thinks he improves the team, and I'll have to bite my bottom lip and say, welcome, Conor. Now show me what that you can do the same things that you were doing in previous incarnations, and we'll see how it goes there. But I mean, I just wonder about his motivation. And we just had a discussion about Spence and his motivation. It's like, is it a positive thing?
It's so underrated as one of the soft skills it's required to be a professional sportsman. It really is so underrated. Yeah, you can have the ability, talent-wise, you can have the mentality, but you've got to also want to be somewhere to perform, because it's not just him coming. I'm assuming he has some sort of family. I'm assuming he has other people around him, that are wanting to. There's one good thing about him, if he was to come from Chelsea to Spurs, he's not having to leave London. So I guess from a family perspective, that's great. But I just go back to, I remember when there was certain rumours when Jack Wilshere was surplus to requirements under Arteta, surplus to requirements at Arsenal, pretty much. And there was all the talk about, he's a great player. Fucking great player was Jack Wilshere.
No. Jack Wilshere, when he was a banged up, knees finished player. He's not 24-year-old Conor Gallagher. That's, in terms of mentality and not wanting to join Tottenham, that's a comparison. But in terms of their player ability, Jack Wilshere, at the point that he was leaving, was a shell of himself and had been a shell of himself for a long time. His knees.
No, I wasn't talking about right at the end, because there was rumours before that, but not right at the end. Nobody would have taken Jack Wilshere, even if he wanted to go there. But there was an opportunity, maybe a couple of years before that, when he wasn't quite, that player, but was still, he was getting injured. I agree with you on that part. But he wasn't right at the end where they said that, because nobody wanted him at that point. There was Jack Wilshere, that talk about him moving across that North London. I kind of, and again, maybe there was just strong rumours, but I was like, no chance. There's no chance.
He was on the top of a bus during an FA Cup parade, singing "What do you think of Tottenham?" There was no way.
At the top of his fucking voice, at the top of his voice, he was screaming it, and I was like, There's absolutely no way. I don't care if he comes out in the press and tells me, you know what, I was only messing about. I've got a soft spot for Tottenham here. No way. And I just see a comparison with Conor Gallagher. I don't know if Conor Gallagher's come out in any interviews and said Spurs are shit. I hate Spurs. None of that. I don't know.
No. He's too professional. He just said that Chelsea is his club, and that's fair enough. I respect that. At least he's honest. And he may be being sold above his head. I mean, he could
100%.
He could actually still turn around and say to Chelsea, "I'm not going. My contract's up next summer,
mm-hmm.
and I'll walk for free." So this is the thing about a deal. There are three parties involved in it, and all three parties have got to agree.
Okay, but if in football contracts, these are probably one of the strongest contracts you can literally have. If the player decides if the player has got a year left in his contract, nobody can force him out of the club. Nobody, and vice versa. You know what I mean? If the club wanted to, he's got his contract's cut. They don't have to do anything to renew that contract for him, so he can walk on the free. So there is power on both sides at this point in time. The power is probably more so with the player because his contract's only a year left. So he has the potential to say, no, I'll sign a pre in January with somebody if I want to do that for an abroad club. Or I'll just wait till next year. If he's young enough, he doesn't necessarily have to get out. There are some players that are on like 3 or 4 years left of their contract and they're thinking, I need to get out. Bloody hell, the club won't let me go. And we've seen that in many, many guises. So at this
Conor Gallagher would get a big move if he went on a free anywhere. So he'd get a big move in a Premier League club.
Why the hell would he come to Spurs?
But that's my point. We're agreeing.
We are. But there's still this strong rumour. So I'm just saying these rumours, forget about Conor Gallagher. But even if we were to be seriously with Conor Gallagher, I don't think he elevates us. I'm talking about elevation. I'm not talking about just making us a little bit better, improving us in certain areas. Lots of players can do that. How you do that over time is based on what I've seen you do as a player. I ain't seen enough of Conor Gallagher over his career to say, yeah, wow. Jude Bellingham, yeah, I can say that. Declan Rice, yeah, I can say that. Those are the type of players that I want to be associated with. Not to say we're going to get either or.
You're going to have to pay double. Conor Gallagher's 50 and those two are 100.
But Eze's another example. He's supposedly on a release clause of 60 million. Why is there any sort of dilly-dallying about that player in terms of a talent aspect now?
So I ask you, so then in that, and again, I agree with you, but then let's say a Man United, let's say a Chelsea, let's say even a Man City drop the same amount of money, and then you've got an option between Tottenham and those clubs. I think, again, Tottenham are in a very difficult position, and this is why Sean is right in the sense of all these signings that we're making are going to be ones that are either going to blow up or it's going to be a riskless transfer to the point where you could probably make even on it if he doesn't. We're not spending, even if we spend 60 million on Eze, there'll be other clubs out there that are going to spend 60 million on Eze that he will be more inclined to join. So we're going to have to, the Bergvals, the Mikey Moores, they're the players that we're going to have to rely on, in my opinion. It's sad to say because I wish we could get the Declan Rices and those players, but I would love Eze, but I know Eze would not join Tottenham. And if it's for as cheap as 60 mil, the Maddison thing surprised me, but then the Newcastle and Tottenham thing, I understand it. But Eze, I could just see, getting a move to Man United quite easily.
So do you think we've got a problem then? Because I don't think we have a problem in attracting players. What's your thought, Sean? Because I don't think we've got a problem attracting players.
I'm actually of a different opinion about Eze and Tottenham. I think he would. I mean, he's a London boy as far as I know, and he would be quite happy to stay. And he would see it as a step up to go to Spurs from Crystal Palace.
100%.
What I think is more likely to be the issue, as you say, is that if it becomes a bidding war, and if say an Arsenal or a Liverpool or a Manchester City, obviously Manchester City is it's a bit of a
they're selling Alvarez this season.
Well, so they say, yeah. So it's I don't know. I mean, I would love Eze. I would love Eze. To me, he's a Spurs player. Historically, if I'm going back to, what made me fall in love with Tottenham Hotspur, players like Eze. But I mean, that Palace is also an interesting project as well.
Very.
Glasgow, so it's although there's a release clause, I think there will be more than one club in for him, and I think there are more if it comes down to a City or an Arsenal or a Liverpool. I think he might choose them over us. I don't know. Champions League football, is that a big thing? I don't know. I mean, I would love him, but if he doesn't come, he doesn't come, and it's because we've not been able to persuade him to come. And that'll be a shame. But,
what?
I'm not gonna worry about it, to be honest.
I'll be so honest with you. I wouldn't even try and go for Eze. I would try and go for Eze. No, that's a complete lie. I would always try and go for a player like Eze, like Sean said. He is the epitome of, classic Spurs player. However, I mentioned Julian Alvarez and saying that I really see City selling him they bought him for 17 million. If they sold him for 30, 40 mil, they're making a good profit on him. I think players like Julian Alvarez, where Arsenal kind of done similar thing, and then, they've not got any trophies to show for it yet, but their team is clearly improved. Buying players who are on the out at the teams who are doing really well might be also a good way to go. And Julian Alvarez is a perfect age, perfect profile, perfect versatility to play along the line, to play as an 8, to play as a 10. If he really needed to, I don't think he's those foot positions, but he did that for Guardiola. I think Julian Alvarez would be the perfect signing for us this season.
I agree, but these are my problems. So if I
the issue with Alvarez is the wages, though.
How much is he on?
Oh, he's on mega wages compared to
nobody goes to City on cheap wages unless you're not playing at City. But going back, this is what I was just going to say. So when Gabriel Jesus was at Manchester City and he was surplus to requirements, basically wasn't fitting quite what Pep wanted from, a high level perspective wise, he had something to prove. But then something to prove, going to somewhere like Arsenal, being a top quality club, who was still in the mix, was probably something that was right for Gabriel Jesus. Alvarez from Manchester City probably has the same sort of view. I've got something to prove. I've not been playing regularly at City, but we don't have Champions League for one thing, and I think that would be a big thing for someone like him. Yes, he would have something to prove, but then he could look back historically and think, well, people have gone there before and not necessarily kind of gone off, and under there's a new project, all the rest of it. But if he's
only on 100 grand a week, by the way. Sorry to interrupt you.
Okay, fair. But if you had a choice of going to somewhere like I'm only going to use this, I don't know, a Bayern Munich or somebody that's in the Champions League that's not necessarily in this country, because I think you've got very limited choices for someone like Julian Alvarez in the Prem, because you're more than likely, I would imagine, if I was that player, and I can't speak for him, but I'd want to stay at the sort of level of the team I'm playing at, but not necessarily be on the bench. So Gabriel Jesus going from Manchester City to Arsenal, even though he's not playing as much now because of his injury records, went there because he was going to play more games. But he's also going to have more opportunity to win something.
You don't think Julian Alvarez comes straight into our starting 11?
Oh, yeah. But why would he want to come into our team to do that if you have an opportunity to go to another team in the Champions League? Now, I've kind of said...
What's his nationality, Sam?
Argentinian.
Okay.
That's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
You'd have a friend in our centre-back, won't
he? Yeah. Like Richarlison had Lucas Moura, and then we got rid of him. So that's why we kept Lucas Moura, to make friends with all them people until they will settle.
Richarlison seems to,
and that's what we've done with Emerson Royal as well.
Worked.
Yeah, he's made friends with all the Brazilians. Now we're getting rid of Emerson. That's good. So maybe, but then would Emerson be off? Would then Richarlison?
Look, Lo Celso's still here technically as well, so he's got two friends technically.
Yeah, I'm only. No, they're very good points. They're very good points. Again, it comes back to the point I'm making about Conor Gallagher. What's the motivation for the player actually coming to Spurs if you've got other opportunities to go somewhere else to play at a higher level, if that's what you want to do? Conor Gallagher, for me, can go anywhere he wants pretty much next year. Not anywhere, but has more of a choice next year.
If Dyer can go to Bayern Munich, Conor Gallagher can go anywhere he wants, unfortunately.
Very true. But no, I tend to agree with what Sean said. I think players will be attracted to Spurs, but I want them to be attracted to Spurs because of a reason that, there's something for me to prove. but I've also got an opportunity to play with the manager. I like the style of play. I want them to come out and say these things. When you're hearing players like, oh, I've got to leave Manchester City, but you know, I want to say a Champions League.
He wants to leave. He actively wants to leave.
But I'm again not without certainty. I am pretty sure.
Who wants to leave? Alvarez wants to leave, but he's probably got a destination in mind.
Yeah, probably.
I probably feel it's probably in Spain rather than.
He's gonna have a.
I hear that. Barcelona could be a good.
He's come from Man City. That's what I'm trying to say.
You know what? I don't know. You know, it's a dream. I don't think he would join, but players like Julian Alvarez, that's the sort of player that takes us to the next level.
I'd take Jack Grealish over him all day, every day.
If
it was me, I'd take Jack Grealish all day, every day.
You want to talk about motivation to play, and you think Jack Grealish, who's fresh off a treble and 2 Premier Leagues, is going to want to play for Tottenham?
Strip all that away. That's what I'm trying to say. Homegrown. There you go. There's much more reasons for having him if the player wanted to come. But if Jack Grealish says he wants to leave, his first destination isn't going to be us. And that's the same for Julian Alvarez. His first destination isn't going to be agent. Maybe the style of play does. Maybe Ange Postecoglou might have an influence. Maybe seeing what we do, the exciting fact of we're playing this kind of football is very, very exciting. We've got more competitions next year. Players are going to get more game time. But when I'm reading here that Dragusin, and this is again sort of I'm flipping all over the place, but I just wanted to kind of say his agent's now saying, "Oh, I want guarantees I'm going to be starting." Now again, paper talk, but if that's starting to come out, he's already starting to say he wants game time, and he's not even
we've already got someone who wants Dragusin.
Really?
Who's that?
Conte wants him at Napoli.
Oh, great. Oh, great.
This is why his agent started now.
That
makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense. Why
we can flip him for a profit.
Flip him for double, and I would be happy with it. But that's not.
Yeah, well,
just get him
out
now. I like him upside, but when your agent's starting to start mouthing off, and now that you've just confirmed that somebody else actually wants him, this is going to run all summer. He's come from Genoa. Was it Genoa?
How much did we pay for him?
Was
it 30 mil? 25 mil? Look, if they give me 60 or 50 plus add-ons, I'll take it.
Again, another player we ain't even given any time to.
You just said something that's so true. If his agent's playing games before the window's started and Conte's already playing games, I'd rather not the merry-go-round.
Why do we not know these things beforehand?
But the thing is, Sam, what we've not been good at is playing the market. Now, if we flip him and get profit, then I'm sorry, there's a lot of good centre backs in There's a lot of good centre backs in football at the moment. I'd say centre back. Other strikers are very hard to come by. I think now you're going to pay a lot of money for a good striker. We've been linked with the guy at Stuttgart, Ito, who's supposed to be really, really good.
The Japanese player.
Yeah.
Ito, I think his name is.
Yeah. So, in some positions,
Sean's making a great point. Sean's making a great point. Flip him, and I'll be happy with it.
Point, because we just talked about all them players that we've kept forever, and we didn't do anything and got any money back for him. Whereas we potentially,
we got £20 million for Ericsson when he was worth 80.
I know.
At one point.
True. You know what? It's so true. And also, you don't want a player who...
We could have sold Eric Dyer to Man United for 60 million.
But we think we could... Yeah, no, you know what? I don't want... And let me preface this by saying I do not want Dragusin to leave. But if the games start this early and we're already thinking about... Because Bayern Munich were very, very interested. And he was going to go to Bayern Munich. Let's not pretend I think Bayern Munich couldn't really afford him. And in the end, he came to us. If we can flip and get £55 million for him, I'm not going to say no to that personally. I'm not going to say no to that. I think that's a good point to make. But again, if we keep him, happy days.
We have to be smarter in the market, and historically we haven't been. I think the guys that we've got in place now will, be smarter. That could be. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to happen.
It's not.
I mean,
it most likely.
Conte. Conte moves to Napoli, and they're already saying, "Oh yeah, Pierre Højbjerg is that's a shoo-in." Because
he can go for whatever price now.
Because obviously Pierre Højbjerg is Conte's boy, isn't he? So
and Napoli did Napoli get a Champions League spot this season?
No, they got no Europe at all.
They didn't. Wow.
No.
Okay, they're going to win the league next season.
Well, yeah,
win the league next season.
And of course, in order to guarantee that, you need to take an ex-Spurs player because they're guaranteed to help you win the league.
May the curse continue.
Unless your name's Harry Kane.
Yeah. Interesting.
David,
that's interesting when you brought up, Sean. That Dragonson thing, I'm going to keep my eye on it. I don't think it will happen, but I'm going to keep my eye on that now because it almost does seem too perfect.
We're going to have to keep bloody big eyes on that because remember, we've lost 2 centre-backs in Eric Dyer now. I know probably haven't lost him. We're probably happy, but I'm just talking numbers-wise. We can't dwindle on the numbers and then expect Dragonson to go without replacing these numbers and a little bit more. We're going to need to have 3 centre-backs. We're definitely going to have 2 if he goes. 100% have to get 2 centre-backs in. We can't go into a 4 tournament season with only.
And Philip, and I won't class Phillips as one of those centre-backs either.
Unless he again with this player, he was bought. I know he was young. He's been loaned out. Is he ready? Is he going to have to go out on loan again?
He had a very good season for Plymouth, but I don't think he's ready yet.
So we're going to have to buy again.
And the thing is, Simon Davis, who's the head of the academy, says that in his opinion, and obviously he oversees the academy, a lot of the players need loans before they go into the first team. A lot of, even the players that we really rate, like Dorrington or Donnelly, or they need loans. They need adult football. So I mean, the only reason that Mikey Moore is because he's not old enough to be loaned.
I think we could have our hands on a generational talent there.
Yeah, we could.
Can't we introduce these with regards to these young players? Now, I'm not saying that any of these players should be completely starters from the start, but we are going to need to have younger players. Younger players do start in the Premier League. Younger players do have an opportunity to play more than a couple of games without being brought in. It's more and more apparent now that you do need to use your younger players. Now, again, if we are going to lose the likes of Yaphet Tanganga, the likes of Ryan Sessegnon, Eric Dyer, even Perisic, and we can't go out and buy for those 4 players, we can't literally buy in the market and get the quality that we need. Because remember, we don't just replace them like for like, because otherwise you wouldn't have got rid of Yaphet Tanganga because it's not a like for like. You need to obviously get better than they are, whether that's age, whether that's talent, whether that's mentality, whether it's a combination of all of them. They need to be better than what you've let go. Does that make sense? Should do. So if you are going to do that, you're going to have to spend more money. And if you are going to spend the money and you've got players like Dragonson, as all these agents already doing all of this, it's not good. It's not good sign. So we might have to rely on a youngster just to kind of at least fill the quota for one thing. If they are Premier League 2 winners, which they are, then surely if Newcastle and Manchester United and Chelsea and all these other teams which finish below us are giving these players an opportunity, we should at least
but that's big in many cases because their PSR FFP position is worse than us.
But they also play more competitions than us. Newcastle and Man United both were in.
Well, not Man United.
Well, they were last season. No, not so much this season. Now they weren't in there for very long. But you know what I'm saying? We are going to need numbers, but we're also going to need the quality. So as much as these players are going, and it's right to go, we've got a lot of players to bring in as well. And if we are going to just bring players in and not going to be youngsters, there's a massive transfer market. It's a massive transfer window, should I say? And that's where I'm a little bit. If we're not going for these players now, like Eze's, the quality, right? They must have a plan. There must be a plan now for, right, we've released them. He's gone. This is who we're looking at. PRTv must be looking at this. Lang must be saying this. And they must all come together now and say, this is what we're doing. This is how, and this is what I want to see. We've got a style of play. I need the players to match that.
Eze's on, by the way, I think our friend was asking, Eugene, Eugene was asking about Eze's wages. He's currently on 47 grand a week. I think we can more than match 47 grand a week, and I'll probably give him a hefty.
I would triple his wages if I'd give him 150, mate. I tell you that for sure.
Yo, steady. Tanguy and Ndombele. Steady. That's all I'm saying to you people. No, don't just throw money at players. Don't just throw money at players, regardless of whether or not you think they're worth it, because it doesn't work. 75
bags a week we will get him.
120, Sean. Give him 120.
Don't go over 100 grand. Sean, I'm with you on that.
Give him 120.
75. Don't go over 100 grand because you are asking for trouble. You are asking for trouble.
110. I think that's good.
He just wants the bag. He don't care. He just wants.
We've got Richarlison earning 175k a week. 175k a week.
That's what I mean. We've got a player who doesn't even play for us, who needs to go on an intermittent fasting diet, who's getting nearly 200 grand a week over there, wherever he is. I don't even know where he is, and he was smiling because he got bloody.
He's got 2 leagues though.
He's got 2 league titles and getting paid by us. That's a life. That's the life.
He's living. And Dublin must be like.
That's the life.
How have I managed to get myself into this situation?
He's the most overpaid club mascot in European football.
It's just beautiful. It's beautiful. He must be living his,
best life.
So, all right. What do you do this summer? Do you just pay up his contract?
How many years he got left? One more.
This is last year.
So he's going into his last year.
This is his last year. He finishes June 2025.
You're not going to sell him. The most you can do, if you're willing to lose that much money, is get rid of, is pay him off. But we're not going to do that. So I think it's going to be
10 million
another
pounds.
loan, and then that club will have a choice whether they want to sign him on a free next year.
No one's gonna take an option on a loan.
No one's gonna take an option.
No one's gonna take an option on a loan for a year's loan on him because he's free next summer. It doesn't make any sense.
It'll be just another year loan somewhere else.
So you either look at a year loan and
they
will
get his wages down.
But the thing is, you say a year loan, we'll have to still have to pick up part of his wages.
Oh, 100%.
So I would look at it this way: if you're offsetting his wages,
I just pay the 10 million and say, cheerio, Tanguy, go off you go and play. Cage football in the suburbs of Paris. And that's it.
Yeah, I don't think he gets a move. I think he would be I would be surprised if he got a move into a first division team in France. You're right. That's how bad I think it's gone for him.
I would look at it this way: I'll try and sell him this summer and make it a very, very cut price deal.
You're not getting any money for him.
5 mil?
No.
You don't think you get 5 mil for him?
You're not getting any money for him because it's a risk. It's a risk-free. It's a risk-free. Purchase. If you take him on a year, give him pay a little bit of his wages, and if he comes good, you sign him on a free next season. He will go on loan to a club, and if he does well, the club will sign him. If he doesn't, it'll be like De Gea. De Gea's been out of a club for a year now, almost a year.
Listen,
to the big story today up here in Scotland. What? De Gea could be replacing Joe Hart at Celtic.
That'll be really good. That'll be really good. That'd actually be quite good.
We're going to replace one transformer with another transformer. No, man. You can't get another one that goes down. No, man. No. The Hayes days are done. Forget him. If they Anyway, I want to read this comment out. Listen, Dragonson is going nowhere. Please don't wait yourself. His agent is a clown. Dragonson's mum. His mum has put him straight, telling her son he's only just got there and be patient. Now, come
on. Is that true?
Dragonson's a big man. He's not like he's 13. If his mum says you got to stay, mum, I don't think I have to stay. I think I'll listen to my agent. Come on.
I tell you what, mums are very important. Who's that guy that's at Juventus at the moment? The French guy. His mum. He has to pass everything through his mum. Oh God.
There's a few, but like I said, it won't be the thing. My mum said, "Don't go there, mum, but they're going to pay me 200 grand. Well, I want you to go to Crystal Palace for 40 grand. All right, mum. No, come on. That's not what mum's about. Not my mum. I won't do that.
How old is he? He's 21. Is he only 21, isn't he?
Looks like about 25, but I think he's young.
Yeah, he's very
21, 22.
Is he now Lookman. Lookman.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Lookman might be cooking.
That wouldn't. You know what? I don't want to see Romero
I pray
go.
on everything this doesn't happen, and I know that and I know Romero does want to stay. This I pray doesn't happen, but this I can see happening.
Who would buy him?
If Real Madrid don't get Saliba, which I think is going to be their number one target next
They
year,
go for Saliba.
Yeah, I think Real Madrid will go for Saliba. Saliba seems like a Real Madrid centre back to me.
Yeah, I'm not.
Arsenal are not going to let him go, are
He's got
they?
his French boys there now. He's got Tchouaméni, Camavinga, and Mbappe there. I think Real Madrid are going to try and put a bid in for Saliba.
You know
if
what?
not, I think Romero fit quite well at Real Madrid as well.
I'd go Saliba over Romero for Real Madrid if we're talking that.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I can see either or if the opportunity was there, because
100 million probably.
Yeah, well, anything less than 80, I'm not taking it.
I think we would. I think we would take 100, wouldn't we?
But yeah, I think Saliba. I think Saliba's not Real Madrid bound, but he's a Real Madrid player in my head. I see Saliba wearing that shirt, and if not, I could see Romero playing for Real Madrid as well. So
again, people are saying here, Martin Wells saying, it doesn't matter how much we get for him. That is Tango. I'm assuming we could accept £5 and he wouldn't agree to go because he wants his wages.
That's so true.
And that's not the player's fault. So as much as we want to blame it's not the player's fault. We're paying him. That's what we signed him up to.
We are now in Arteta's. If I don't want to. I mean, I've said this to our friend Deji. I don't want to compare us to Arsenal, but we're in that contract burning part of the when they got rid of the Ozils and the Aubameyangs and the Pepes. My view, we're at that period, and I would say that Tanguy is primo case for here's your 10 million. Cheerio, thanks for nothing. Off you go.
And that would hurt the Spurs hierarchy so much to see a player.
Of course,
he's literally doing this. He's literally doing this to us. He is. He's not getting himself fit enough to be here and doesn't look like he wants to be here, but goes and wins 2 league titles whilst he's on loan from us. That's taking the piss. But again, it's not the player's fault because he doesn't say, "Oh, come on." But his attitude.
You just got to cut your losses.
And that's another one that because would they go for him? Pep would probably go for him, but whoever is going to come in after.
I don't know. I think City with their legal issues, I don't think people might. I think players might just wait to see how that plays out before they go
right on that one. I definitely think you're right on that one. All right, time's gone. Time is gone. Time has gone. Thank you very much to Deshaun Skiers, David Clark. Lookman, welcome back. We haven't seen you for a little while. Luca, welcome. Having that. Darius has just turned back up again. We'll put him in
a hype.
Martin
Wild.
We're saying bye to people. Clement in there. Well done. Donna Cullen, you need to give us the down low as to who we are actually going for, Donna. You're in that boardroom. You know what's happening.
Yeah, we need the deal sheet, Donna.
We need the deal sheet, fam. We need the deal sheet. When players are on those wages, I think they lose motivation. This is what I'm saying.
Dele Alli.
What? Dele Alli back to the club? No,
I'm just saying. I think Dele Alli is I'm thinking of examples of players who, you think you throw because I know what you're saying about throwing the money at players, and I'm thinking of players who we threw 100-odd grand at Dele Alli, and I know that in the future we've seen that a lot more things happen to him in his career. Maybe you might be right. Maybe you might be right about not throwing the money.
Before we go, Sam, see this one here. Is that
who's our assistant coach? Which one of our assistant coaches is he talking about?
Exactly. Yeah, I've not heard that
because I've not heard.
What is he going to manage full time or something?
It's Mason, Jednek, and who else?
Davis. Is it Davis? Because he was. Swansea made a big pitch for him during last season, and
Ben Davis has done his badges. I know that he's done his badges.
No, I'm like Chris Davis.
Chris Davis.
Yeah, the understudy to Ange. Yeah. So, I wonder if that's who it is.
Just on the Ben Davis thing, I think he's done his coaching badges that allows him to coach now, and I think he's looking to probably go into management. They may keep him at Spurs for that reason. He might be bought. I said I've not heard anything about Ben Davies being released. When does his contract end?
They'll keep him at Spurs. He'll stay at Spurs.
And his contract doesn't end until next year anyway.
Next
so
year?
I think,
Yeah, he might get a job with the academy.
yeah, I think you're right. I can see him, and you know what? I wouldn't be mad at that for that reason, because I think he has got that potential to be a good manager. I personally believe. I think because the way I like say it's a bit of a cliche. I like how he speaks. Well, I do like how he speaks because he's got an intelligence about him. He's a very clever guy anyway. He's Ben Davies, and I think he has a football brain. He just doesn't have the talent levels, but that doesn't always have to mean to say he's obviously very talented because he's playing professional football. But you know what I'm saying, people. I'm getting myself all...
Being a good player, no guarantee of being a good manager.
Very true. So
Let's
hope the reverse is true. Last
Neville.
comment. Gary Neville. Last comment here. It doesn't matter if we change the whole coaching team. Ange doesn't have a fixed coaching team. Well, he's never had that, has he?
No.
He's been very fluid in his coaching team wherever he's been. So I think if he's happy with that and he's comfortable, we should be comfortable with that process too. I just want to make sure it
hasn't stopped him having success. So
I want to make sure that the people above that are supporting in terms of the players that we require for the system that are going to advance us are obviously purchased. We'll have other shows to discuss that. But again, do it for me. Like, subscribe, comment. Paxton Road TV, PRTv Spurs, as mentioned already, we will be stopping streaming live on Paxton Road come end of July. From 1st of August, it's going to be strictly PRTv Spurs. The reasons being, we can't get monetized on here because YouTube are bastards. That's what they literally...
Well, hold on a second. That's exactly why we're not monetized.
I can say it now because I've tried about 15 times and they stuck 2 fingers up at me more than one occasion. So they are bastards. Great show, guys, and always Levy out. Maybe promote Wayne Burnett from the under 21s.
Who knows?
Well,
Who knows?
we don't even know if it's true. We don't even know if it's true yet. So let's not go too far down the line. We've got to find out what's going on. Final thoughts then, guys. Sean?
Okay. There is no window open until the 14th of June, right? The 14th of June. So there'll be no announcements till then. They've just released their retained list. We've just been told who's leaving. And some of them, some of them we knew were leaving anyway. So that, don't try and enjoy your summer, right? What will be, and there'll be fixtures out before long. You have that to worry about, And,
I actually love that. I love when we can see who we're playing at what time. And...
Yeah, we should do a fixtures day stream, and everyone's up in arms about the new kit.
No. I think the new kits, maybe not the away kit. The away kit is
no. I'm the other way around. The away
but
kit,
the home kit and the third kit, the badge on the third kit is gorgeous.
No.
It looks traditional. The home kit is the best home kit in a long time.
Nah, with the blue sleeves. No, man. I'm like
a
white kit.
It's Edgar Davids, man. It's Edgar Davids.
05, 06 or 04, 05.
I like that Edgar Davids kit. But
I had that kit. You bought me that kit when I was a baby.
But I said that
kit is gorgeous.
The white, plain white one with the thingy on the. It just looks so much better.
I think they smashed it with this home kit. Absolutely smashed it.
Anyway,
and that third kit is going to grow on people. I'm telling you now.
Any more final thoughts from you then, Darius? Before
the away kit is too much like deck chair.
It looks like a pajama. It looks like a pajama top. It does look like a pajama top.
The blue one, not the tanny kind of
the stripy one.
Yeah, the blue. It's that blue color. It's like a kind of a blue.
Not
that's
feeling
nice
it. Not
kit,
feeling
man.
it yet.
No,
not
man,
feeling
that's a nice
it
kit. Okay, I'm gonna try this in a hype. YouTube, you're the best streaming platform in the history of the world ever. We love you. We hope that you love us, and please allow us to be monetized.
And I've got to save up for a new sticker for my microphone.
Is that going to help? Hopefully the algorithm accepts my apology in that. You are the best algorithm. Darius, final thoughts.
I'm in Euros mode right now, so like Sean said, don't worry until the 14th.
Oh, Copa America, man, Copa America,
and Copa America as well. I'm in international competition mode right now. I'm gonna choose my teams next week because I always choose a team to stick with throughout the whole competition. It will probably be Argentina for Copa America, and I really like the look of the Netherlands for the Euros. So I'll choose my teams. I'll support the team through the competition, and I'll see you in August when we start a brand new season again.
Don't you think we're gonna have an emergency? We're gonna have an emergency spot because something's gone wrong at Tottenham before August.
We're gonna have many more streams before the start of the transfer window. We're gonna have many more streams during the transfer window because
we'll have watch-alongs for the two games.
This is Spurs we're talking about. Come on, lads. You know what I mean? I myself, however, with regards to this, we'll be continuing doing this. Thank you, Inap. I'll make sure, Mr. YouTube, you're the best. But I'm also going to say I'm going to be enjoying the NBA finals.
Oh, God, yeah, the finals.
Dallas Mavericks versus Boston Celtics.
It starts tonight.
Come on, Celtics.
Game one.
Oh, my gosh, it starts tonight.
Game one. And I don't know who's going to win this one, but I think I want the Mavs to win. But
Mavs in 7.
Brown.
Mavs in 7.
Huh?
Mavs in 7.
Tatum and Brown, though. Tatum and Brown. Irving.
I think the Celtics coach talking to Pep Guardiola yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that too.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good. That's it. That's all the excitement that's going to happen. We've obviously got a long way to go before the transfer window closes, but we've also got couple of weeks. Well, not even a couple of weeks, a week and a bit before it opens. So everybody calm down, cool. It's all, Lookman's saying Celtics. He's getting Celtics. You're obviously on that Jaylen Brown business. You're on the Tatum business. No, we're Doncic and Irving, man.
The spirit of the bird.
No, it's gonna be the rest. Whoever's got the best backup, they're gonna win it. So whoever's got the best bench, they're gonna win it. At this moment, I think it's the Celtics.
Basketball, by
the way.
We might have to start a separate channel.
We might have to do a little sign because it looks like there's a few people in here that have got some hoops about them. Always bet on green. The Celtics look like they're the ones, man. People are
only hoops worth playing.
Get these Celtic fans out my comment section, man.
Obviously, they ain't seen Doncic play, have they? They ain't seen him play recently. You gotta watch what they did against them bloody Timberwolves. They cleaned them out. Anyway, that's enough basketball talk. That's enough talk about football. We've got to go. Last comment on here. I'm old school. That's what I'm saying. Those were the days. They were the days. They were the days.
Bird magic days.
They were the days. They won't be back, unfortunately. But they could. They could. You never know. This could be a great series because they've both got two good players on each team. So we'll see. Anyway, that's enough of that chat. Thank you very much. Like, subscribe, comment, all the rest of it. PRTv Spurs, PRTv. Look out for us on X. Look out for us on Instagram. Look out for us on YouTube as well. Twitch. You'll find us here, there, and everywhere. That's it. Thank you very much. Looking for the music to take us out. Thanks, Sean. Thanks, Darius. Thanks to Sid, although he couldn't make it. And all the rest of you guys, have a good weekend, and we'll catch you next week. Bye.
More developed,